Franchise Sports Media!
What's going on, fight fans? Thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the main event right here on Franchise Sports Media. I'm your host, Kalani, and boy, were we in for a banger up north in Salt Lake City. The champ, Pereira, goes out there and shows why not only is he one of the best fighters in the entire roster right now, it's a possibility he's one of the greatest of all time. We'll dive into that in just a minute. But UFC 307 went down this past weekend. We were all entertained. It was a tremendous card. It's something about when the UFC goes up to Salt Lake. If you guys remember, when the UFC went up there a little while back, we had that terrific clash between Paulo Costa and Luke Rockhold. Now, granted, that was a male modeling expo, but those two warriors went out there and showed, hey, we're more than just strong jawlines and beautiful looks. We're fighters. And they went out there and put on a show. We got one here. So let's dive into some of what we saw at UFC 307 in Salt Lake City. Tremendous. And we'll dive into what's next for some of these fighters. So in the main event, Alex Pereira, Khalil Roundtree. Absolute banger. Like I told you guys on the last episode, Dana White sells holy shit moments. And I asked you guys, well, what do you want? Do you want holy shit? Or do you want holy shit? Well, this past weekend, we got holy shit. Pereira, Roundtree. You can see in the crowd as they were coming in, there was so much anticipation, so much excitement for Pereira. I mean, there's videos of the crowd getting all their phones out, doing the arrow with him when he's coming to the ring. His march, it's the best entrance in UFC. But the stare down that he and Roundtree did. Now, Pereira was staying there for 20 minutes straight without blinking, which is a psychopath if you ask me. But he and Roundtree both standing there, now moving around, now going back and forth, staring each other dead in the eye, mano y mano. You got your beady little eyes narrowed in on the toughest son of a... And these two guys went at it. Once the round started, they started they started going at it, and it was fantastic. Now, Roundtree, we thought was going to throw a lot more kicks. He didn't. He said, nope, I'm going to go toe for toe with you. I'm going to stand right here in the phone booth, and I'm going to take on the big chunks. I'm going to take on the scary guy. He went at it, and tell you the truth, he looked pretty good. Roundtree looked pretty good in there. Pereira was aggressive, going with the leg kicks early, and my gosh, look, we know leg kicks can be effective once you start early. There are only a handful of fighters who you can honestly say, I don't want to take any leg kicks from that person. Jose Aldo when he was in the WEC, Justin Gaethje, Alex Pereira. No, negative, no must, don't do it. No, I wasn't ready. It is when he hits the legs, you can hear it. You're like, what in the world? How are you still standing? But credit to Roundtree. His game plan, and it didn't look like this was the initial plan. I think maybe the stage was a little bit big for him. The lights were a little bright. And look, like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. He wasn't scared, and nor did he back down. But when you're standing there against Pereira, this massive individual who's coming at you with these massive, thunderous leg kicks, the power. The referee, Mark Goddard, told Joe Rogan, I'm in the ring when this guy fights. When I hear him hit people, it's unlike anything I've heard before. We've had some guys who can throw some leather. We've had some guys who got rockets and missiles and lunchboxes in their fists. This dude is just different. I don't know if he's made of animanium, vibranium, whatever it is, whatever's down there in Brazil where he comes from, man, oh man, it is something special. Roundtree was trying to counter strike for strike. If you look at kickboxing and Muay Thai fights, Roundtree was trying to take that approach. You hit me, I hit you. You hit me, I hit you. Not a bad strategy. One of the issues Roundtree had throughout the fight, he didn't want to overexpose himself because of the height difference, because of the reach advantage that Pereira has. Roundtree wouldn't open up on his combinations coming forward. 1, 2, I'm going to pull back. Bam, bam, bam. Pull back. And his corner would even tell him, Roundtree, you need to put something else at the end of those. He's timing you so that when you get in there, you're missing your shots just by that much. Just by that much. And sure enough, there were times where Roundtree, when he did open up, he was able to connect on Pereira, even knocked him down in the third round. So Roundtree showed he's got the power. He showed that he's not afraid to go in there and stand up to the boogeyman. But Pereira was just too much. The jab that he started enforcing halfway through the fight that went towards the end, the leg kicks, the combinations, trying to work the body, get him up against the fence. Now, Roundtree did a great job. Every time he got close to the fence, he would circle out. With Pereira, who has shown against Israel Adesanya and basically everyone else, if I get you up against the fence, oh, buddy, we going to Sizzler. We going to Sizzler, and we going to eat right here. Feed me more. Roundtree did a good job in avoiding the cage and staying away from that. In fact, the judges had Roundtree winning the first 3 rounds, 29-28. So that just goes to show you that, yes, Pereira, the fan favorite, Pereira, the knockout highlight, Pereira, the champion, was losing this fight going into the championship rounds. The 4th and crucial round where this all ended, Pereira was down. But I think at the end of the 3rd, he knew it. He started to tag up Roundtree with the jab, like I was mentioning, with the leg kicks that was limiting Roundtree's movement. And Roundtree, again, while not afraid, he definitely did not open up as much as he should have. I felt there were times in the fight where he should have put some good combinations together, especially with his kicks. There was a kick, I want to say at the end of the 2nd, maybe in the middle of the 3rd, he threw a left body kick to Pereira. Landed, Pereira dropped his hands and backed up to the fence. Even DC on commentary said, ooh, that hurt Pereira. He doesn't like that. For one reason or another, and again, those leg kicks, it's going to take away the front leg mobility. So for Roundtree, it'll be his right leg on you trying to move around, but also planted so you can spin off and hit a round kick. So I understand that part. But once you see you got him hurt, oh, buddy, you got to go in there like you see melted ice cream. No, don't let it fall to the ground. Try to get every drop that you can. I don't know if that was a good enough expression or explanation, but you get what I'm saying, right? Then the 4th round came. In the 4th, Roundtree's already been hurt a little bit. Pereira got knocked down, but Pereira recovered pretty quickly. Pereira senses, I got this guy in the deep water. Let me try to go in for the finish. Roundtree knows I still have a puncher's chance, but it's a slim one. I got to be able to open up. And as time went on, Roundtree's in there as Pereira's pushing forward, trying to throw back combinations, trying to come back at him with the punches. Pereira was just too much, dabbing him up. It was a masterful class in how he was being aggressive, but tactical and smart about it. And we've said before on this show, it's a difference when you hurt a guy and you just bum rush in there, bullying and trying to shop, and you just want to wreck shop and everything. Yeah, that can work, but that also leaves you open to counters, being grappled, submitted easily, losing position, and you knock the guy down thinking, now I'm going to be in top position with ground and pound. You overextended yourself. Now you're on the bottom trying to get this guy off of you. He wants to take a break. He's going to hold you down. He's going to ground and pound you down. So you got to be careful with that. Pereira did a beautiful job in mastering that. Coming in, bam, bam, jab, jab, bam, body shot, bam, right hook, left, kicks. And then towards the end, you can tell Roundtree was just fighting for, his last breath, his last leg. He went out on his shield like a warrior. And then Pereira gets the 4th round finish. Here's something you don't see all the time. And this goes to show how Roundtree portrayed himself, held his ground, and stood on business. The fans in Salt Lake City, after the bout, after hand still, UFC light heavyweight champion, Pereira does his interview, right? Chama! All the fans stayed there, wanted to listen to Roundtree, wanted to show their respect to him. And this dude stood there while the fans were coming in. He had this huge snot booger coming out of his nose. He just wiped it and just said, oh, I guess somebody can sell that on eBay. But the fans showed their appreciation. And this is where you say, look, as a fight fan, I understand that this is mixed martial arts, so there has to be grappling in there. But there is effective grappling. There is grappling where I'm trying to move to position, trying to submit you, trying to get a more technical advantage so that I can try to go for the victory, and I'm just going to hold your leg against the fence. I'm just going to be here, lay on you, take a breath. I'm just trying to get out of this round or out of this fight because I just want a quick win. We don't need rock'em sock'em every single time. But if we see you guys going out there, as I say on this show, these warriors, these gladiators putting all on the line, and they go out there and they're willing to put it, whatever their game plan is, but they're willing to go for it. They're willing to say, hey, if this is what I got to do, stand here in front of you and go toe to toe, that's what it is. If me and you got to be a technical chess mastery matchup right here, then let's do it. But whatever it is, you got to show me that you're trying to go for the win. You got to show us as the fan that, hey, I'm in here for a reason. Let me show you why. And that's why the fans want to show their appreciation for Roundtree. I think for Khalil, this only helps his name and his brand value go up. Now, again, it helps if you now start stacking some wins against. You can't go out there now and get smoked in your next outing. But this was a great showing for him to show that, yes, I may have been ranked number 8th in the division. There's people who talked about beforehand, oh, but he failed a drug test. Well, like he said, Dana White and the UFC saw that this was a tainted supplement, that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't even an egregious amount, but it wasn't my fault. It was a tainted supplement a la Yoel Romero back in the day when he failed a drug test. This guy's been in the Olympic training drug test pool for 20 years, and all of a sudden he fails a drug test? No, the company was tainted. They went bankrupt. Hey, Yoel Romero, Jesus. Who? So Khalil now goes out there, has to recover. We'll see him sometime in 2025. It'll be interesting to see what his matchup would be. There's Jan Blachowicz out there. There's Yuri Prohaska out there. There are some good fights. Johnny Walker's out there. There are some good matches for him at 205. With Roundtree, I don't know if he would ever want to do it, but could you imagine if he ever decided to move up to heavyweight? He's a big enough guy, has the power, and when you look at it, how many grapplers are at a heavyweight that he really has to worry about? So it's like at 205, we're not littered with the Brock Lesnars, the Frank Mirs, the Cain Velasquez, the Fabricio Verduns. We don't have those guys on his roster right now. So it's a stand-up war, and in a stand-up war, anybody has one punch knockout to finish it. But let's talk about the champion, Alex Pereira. Man, 3 times in 1 year he has defended the light heavyweight championship. Just think about that for a minute. We've had Ilia Topuria won the featherweight title in January. He doesn't fight to the end of October. Huge gap. A lot of big gaps in his resume. That's what we don't always get this from champions. We get champions who sometimes, and listen, my guy John Jones, he got injured, you knuckleheads. He got injured, okay? But he hasn't been in the cage for quite some time. Pereira said, yeah, I'll be a Huckleberry. Somebody needs a fight, I'll fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he's telling Dana, can I fight in December? Remember, he comes from the world of kickboxing, Muay Thai. These guys fight all the time. And it's a different world and it's a different sport, but they're used to that. He's keeping his body fresh. Look, I'm 36, 37. I don't have all the time in the world to just sit here, rest up, wait for the big matches. No, let me go out here and continue to build my legacy, to continue to push forward, improve my resume, and show people, Chama. We still don't know what that means. But hey, it works. It's awesome. It's catchy. But for Pereira, now he's in a unique position. Defending the title 3 times. In fact, he did it in the shortest period of time, 179 days, I believe it is, of defending the titles, which is the fastest for anybody in the history. Ronda Rousey once held that at 184, 186 days. So now he's done it in 179. So he's just breaking records all over the place. But now what does he do? There's talks of him moving up to heavyweight. There's Tom Aspinall. There's John Jones, Stipe Miocic, whoever wins that. If those 2 guys decide to retire, maybe him and Tom Aspinall go at it for the heavyweight championship. That's a possibility. There's slight talk of him going down to 185 to take on DDP, Drakish Duplessis. Maybe he does that, gets his title back, and says, hey, I'm the king everywhere. He did mention afterwards that he does like being at 205. His body feels good. When he goes down to 185, he's such a big human being. That's a lot that he's draining himself. Goes up to heavyweight. He has to put the weight on correctly. Speaking of putting the weight on correctly, y'all seen John Jones with the abs, right? Yeah, now that's my after shot. This is the before, that's the after. First time, he didn't look like that. He looked more like this. Now he's got the abs, the 6-pack. You got to put the weight on correctly. Just like Georges St. Pierre when he moved up from 170 to 185. You can't just eat a couple extra cheeseburgers and pancakes and say, yeah, I'm moving up a weight class. You got to put it on correctly. Look at Max Holloway the first time he fought at 155 against Dustin Poirier. Dustin looked like he was 2 weight classes above him when they were in the cage. But then look at his matchup against Justin Gaethje. While not necessarily bigger than Gaethje, he looked like, okay, Max can handle himself at 155. You got to put the weight on correctly. So I think for Pereira, he's thinking there's still some guys here at 205. Magadev Ankalaev, who fights later this month, he's out there. A rematch with Jan Blachowicz possibly. Maybe somebody at 185 wants to move on up to 205. Is he? Now, Israel Adesanya did say that he's done with them. We'll see. It takes a lot out of you when you take on somebody like that. If you look at going to Hollywood here, if you look at the Rocky movies, like even Rocky Balboa was like, hey, when I fought Ivan Drago, that dude broke things in me that ain't been right since. And there's sometimes that nature of there are some opponents, some matchups, hey man, that took so much out of me mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I don't know if I want to go through that again, especially if I'm already close to the end of my career and I'm already thinking, okay, a couple more fights and I'm done. I don't know if I want to go through that as the end, but we shall see. Also on the card, Also on the card, in the co-main event, we have a new women's bantamweight champion, two-time champion, Juliana Pena regains the title in a close, very close war with Raquel Pennington. Shout out to Pennington. She went out there and showed that she's a champion for a reason. She may not have the most entertaining style, but guess what? It's effective for her to get 5 wins in a row plus a title, and she went out there, and a lot of people felt like she should have won. Pena did what she had to do as far as takedowns, ground control, being aggressive coming forward, but she got tagged a few times. There were times where Raquel was looking good, and honestly, I thought Raquel did enough to win. I feel like when you fight the champion, you got to beat the champ. It can't be, well, no, maybe, possibly, it was kind of close. No, you need to beat the champion, and sometimes when it has gone that way, people feel like it's been rigged. The UFC wants to keep the title. No, I'm the champion. You got to beat me, son. Just like if you watch the NFL right now, the Kansas City Chiefs, how many calls do they get away with? But then when you're the back-to-back defending champions, you kind of get the luxury of that. We hear it all the time with athletes. Oh, the veteran, he's going to get that call. Oh, that should be. But then the rookie, you ain't earned that yet. The 1-2 year guy, young buck, you ain't earned that yet. So for these challengers, you got to earn that title off the champion. I felt like in this one, Pena, while putting on a good show, I felt like Raquel should have kept the title on this one. But nonetheless, we have a new champion, Juliana Pena. 2 times. Congratulations to her. It was awesome. She is going to be tremendous for the division as far as being able to promote her fights. Look, say what you will. You like her, you hate her, can't stand her, you can't get enough of her. Whatever it is, she's going to go out there. She'll go on these TV shows. She'll go on these podcasts. Maybe she'll come on the main event on the Franchise Sports Media, huh? Juliana? Huh? All right now. And she'll do interviews. She'll talk and she'll let you know, hey, yeah, I'm the best. And who's going to stop me? She called out former champion, her nemesis, Amanda Nunes, to come out. Oh, Amanda Nunes, the lioness, she posted a video of her looking in shape, looking slim and trim. Is there a possibility of a comeback? Maybe. But first, before Juliana looks over at Amanda and says, let's do the trilogy, we're tied at 1-1, let's finish this, there's another woman in that division who says, knock, knock, let me in, I'm the big bad wolf. Kayla Harrison, 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo. Kayla Harrison went in and got a victory over Kaylin Vieira. Now, it was a decision victory. I told you guys on this show, Vieira is no pushover. She is tougher than the $2 steak. She showed why at one point in time, she was the number 1 contender when Amanda Nunes was the champion. She just suffered an injury, came back, lost, so that set her back. But Kaylin Vieira is the real deal. She just has to find her footing and get back on track. This one, she did a tremendous showing against Kayla Harrison. Everybody thought Harrison was just going to go in there, smash her, get on with it. And granted, she came out with the victory, looked good. Clearly, again, she has to still fill in some holes in her game, as you do in this sport. You're never perfect. But she went out there and then she said, hey, I'm coming for that belt. And afterwards, when Joe Rogan asked him about, asked her about fighting Harrison, she quickly avoided that one. She did a, no. Didn't put her blinker on, didn't put her hand out for the signal. She just go ahead and switch lanes on us. We all know how frustrating that is. They even did the split screen with Harrison in the back looking like, come on, say my name. I'm drooling. I'm salivating for this. Please call me out. Please. She ain't do it. Now, again, this isn't to say Pena avoiding her, scared of her. I think Pena does look at the fact that if she fights Amanda Nunes, that's a big deal right there. The greatest female fighter of all time, the GOAT trilogy, that could be a possible headliner. And for Pena, she probably feels like, no, I could beat her. I beat her, I'm an even bigger star. But I tell you what, Kayla Harrison is showing time and time again when she steps out there, I'm the big star. I'm on the rise. That belt is going to home with me eventually. It's just a matter of when. So we'll see how that all works out in the women's division. Very quickly, we had Mario Batista defeat Jose Aldo in a 3-round decision. Earlier when I mentioned the difference between just wanting to grab your leg, hold on to you, hump your leg, hold you down, catch your breath, just get out of it. This was Mario Batista right here. And when you listen to Joe Rogan in other fights, he's always talking about the referee breaks these guys up too much. No, that should be part of it. These guys should fight on an NBA court with just ropes around it, and you should be able to hold the guy down. In fact, if you end around in a grappling position holding the guy, you should start the next one like that, because if it was a real fight, if we were out here in the streets, it wouldn't happen. Blah, 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 blah. Love you, Joe Rogan, but that's silly nonsense, because as I said on the show last week, while this is a fight, it's also entertainment. We're paying good money to see these guys fight. One guy clearly didn't want to fight. I don't know if he just felt, hey, let me just do enough to win. Maybe he got stung by Jose Aldo a couple times and said, I don't like that. I don't like that. So I don't want no more part of that. Please let me go. No more. Please. Let me just hold on to you for dear life. Let me get out of this with a victory, please. I don't know. This isn't the question, Batista, because obviously he's a pro fighter. He's in the UFC. He's got the victory. Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do to get the dub. I get that. But does this really do anything for him going forward? Or do you really feel like Batista should get a higher ranking fight past this? Jose Aldo, who's been out the game for a little while, coming back into the MMA, he looked good. Some people felt Jose Aldo should have won the fight. Yeah. So for Aldo, you can almost say Aldo's next fight might be a bigger one than Batista's. It is what it is in that particular regard, though. Roman Dolidze defeats Kevin Holland in the first round. Unfortunately, Holland suffered a rib injury. We don't know. I haven't seen anything that said, was it a broken rib, fractured rib? Did he pop his rib? Whatever it is, we know how tough Holland is. Holland's like Pereira. He'll fight next week if he wasn't injured. That's just the way the dude is. But he goes down, and you hear him wince, scream, holding his side. When he goes to the sideline, how many MMA fighters do you hear wince in pain during a fight? Not many. So to see that, it was good that they didn't allow the fight to continue, but now we'll see how long he's out. For Roman, where does he go from here? Well, it was an injury. I mean, injuries do happen. It's part of it. So now you look at his potential matchups and you say, okay, this is a middleweight division. It's a little shooken up right now. Does he go after someone like Paulo Costa? Does he maybe take on Marlon Vieira? It'll be interesting to see what the UFC sees as a possibility for him to see, do you keep moving up or is this about where you are as a fighter? It'll be fun to check all that out. Joaquin Buckley, to finish off the prelims, knocks out Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It's such a nice dude. Like, seriously, I met him, and I felt like a better person after meeting him. He really does have that warming, cinnamon, Christmassy vibe to him. I don't know what it is, because you think, okay, he's a fighter. There's not one person who can ever say they've had a bad run-in with Stephen Thompson, unless you ended up on the back end of one of his spinning kicks, but that's another story. But Joaquin Buckley goes out there, gets the knockout victory. Very impressive. For Joaquin Buckley, he was smarter than his last fight in this particular manner. After his last fight, he gets the victory in St. Louis, and he goes, I caught him, look at that, you got, dude, no, you're not at that level yet. There's a pecking order to this. So what does he do this time? He gets more realistic and says, I want the former champion Kamaru Usman. Usman, who has shown, hey, while I am a former champion, I'm not done, but I'm also not at the peak of my career anymore. That's a good call out right there. Big name, former champion, still highly respectable. That's who you go after to say, okay, if I'm ready to take the step for these next big fights, for the upper echelon of the top 6, top 5 of the division, this is one of those guys I got to defeat. So I like this call out way better than his last one. It's a matchup where you can say, yeah, that's a possibility. We can see about matching these two up to see how it goes. For Usman, can you still hang with the young guns? Can you still be a threat in his division? Buckley, hey, are you moving up? Are you the next one to get in line and say, hey, I want my name up there for number 1 contender? This is a perfect opportunity for both of these guys to answer those questions. So very good for Buckley, not only getting the win, but making a proper call out on this one. Proper number 12, Conor McGregor. Oh, there's too many entanglements there. But that was that particular weekend in Salt Lake City for UFC 307. Now, if only some of my football teams could have came through and got a couple of victories, that would have been a perfect weekend. It would have been awesome. But nonetheless, we can't always have good things in life. But coming up, we got a fight night this one. We got 308 in Abu Dhabi going on. We got Power Slap going on overseas as well. That is going to be a great one. We're going to be talking about it right here on the main event on Franchise Sports Media. Folks, it is a tremendous way to end 2024. Also, October 19th, Francis Ngannou returns to PFL, returns to the world of MMA. Can he capture the heavyweight championship? We shall see. There's a pretty big Brazilian there that says, no, this is mine. I'll get into that on next week's show as well as we break that card down. Thank you guys for tuning in for another edition of the main event right here on Franchise Sports Media. Be sure to go to Franchise Sports Media on all your social media outlets. Like, share, subscribe. Be sure to check us out. We're pushing out content all the time. The main event, be sure to go like the former previous shows, share the previous shows. The clips are coming out. We're bringing it to you guys. Interviews, more breakdowns, more previews, more recaps. It's all going to be happening right here. You guys can find me on Instagram at KLUA, KLUA11, KLUA on Instagram. Franchise Sports Media on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube. Go to it all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time, fight fans. Peace.